All right, Wagwan, welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Bourbon Jamaican. And we got Dropping Nukes, capital D, capital N for the Nukes, and Brady the Great. I think he might be recovered from getting hit with the flu, so his tantalizing taste buds are back to give you some good opinions.
Hell yeah.
We got a pretty stellar lineup of the, is it Redwood?
Yep, Redwood Empire.
From left to right, our left, your right. We got the Pipe Dream. What's that one?
The Lost Monarch. Then we have the Grizzly Beast and the Rocket Top, and we'll go through the details as we taste them.
Yeah, so these aren't blind, but they're staged. How you see them is how we're going to try them. Some of them are 90 proof. The first two is 90 proof. The other two is bottle and bond. So it's quite a good mixture. There's still how many more out there that we don't have?
I think there's like 5 more, isn't it?
There's a rye with a white label. It's called the Emerald Giant. It's like $30. We're missing that one. We're missing the cash strengths of the 3 baselines, and then they just did 2 new ones that we're not going to see in Kentucky. But yeah, out of the core lineup, we're missing the Emerald Giant.
All right. Well, which are we starting from?
So we'll start on the left, which is the Pipe Dream, which Chris brought.
Yeah, that one's it's aged at least 4 years. It's an introductory bourbon. I got put on by a buddy out of Virginia. He put me onto it, and we were sitting around tasting one night, and I drank it and had to go out and get me one. I've had a couple of the Redwoods. I haven't had all of them, so I'm excited to try a couple new ones on this lineup today. It was kind of like, last night I had a pipe dream that UVA would win. So I had to put on my Remember the Good Time shirt.
Absolutely. Well, let's give it a sip. Right off the bat, I'm getting a lot of fruit.
I got honey and some baking spice at first, and then it turned to me a little bit into a cherry. Now I've got this long cherry syrup kind of taste lingering.
I get the tobacco on it. It seems like here lately all I can pick up is tobacco on a lot of things.
He got away from the bubble gum, now it's tobacco.
So this one says it aged at least 4 years. If I remember correctly, they make their own whiskey, but they were originally sourcing from MGP. So I think they still blend MGP into this. I think it's 4 years of their own product and then some older barrels of MGP, which would make sense why I get that cherry.
Yeah.
And I get a little bit of an oak, but I'm gonna try another sip.
It sounds like most of MGP stuff, you're getting a lot of cherry or a lot of bacon spice. So I wonder what kind of wood they're using in their barrels.
This sip is a little grainy up front, which I think is from the 4 year.
You buy a bottle, they'll plant a tree.
Yes.
That's true.
They are known for that.
All right.
So glass number 2 is called the Lost Monarch. Like we mentioned before, we are missing the Emerald Giant. The Emerald Giant is a rye. The Lost Monarch is a blend of the Emerald Giant and the Pipe Dream. It's not 50-50. This one does say aged at least 3 years because I believe the Emerald Giant is just a 3-year rye blended with some older 95.5 MGP rye. The Pipe Dream and the Lost Monarch, by the way, are about $30-35 around here.
Yeah.
I think I paid $35 for the Lost Monarch. And I smell, it smells like a rye.
Mm-hmm. It's spicy. It's very spicy. Ooh. It's got a lot of spice to it.
It's, out front I get that baking spice. I get a little bit of oak. Then I get some nice honey and some fruits. And then I'm getting like a floral finish. So it's very unique. You can tell it's a bourbon and a rye mix.
It comes and goes real quick on the finish. Like it's nothing.
It doesn't stick around.
The pipe dream stuck around and hugged you for a little bit, but this one, it goes down pretty smooth. It's not overly, there's not too much complexity to it at all.
Yeah.
You get the floral. I get floral heavy.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm still getting a lot of I guess the rye spice is really thick. I guess it's more rye than it is bourbon.
It kind of tastes like a pine tree.
Yeah.
How would one pine tree taste?
I've not tasted a pine tree, but I mean,
smell a pine cone. You taste
have you ever smelled a pine tree or a pine cone? That's how this tastes to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought the Lost Monarch because a lot of people were giving it pretty decent reviews. I wanted to support a craft distillery. It's like $35 bottle. Figured why not.
Redwood's coming out with a lot of decent things, in my opinion. Like they, for a craft distillery,
They're coming out with a lot of different product, but I can say out of the first two, I wouldn't buy another bottle of the first two. I'd buy it to try it. Sure, it's $30, but like to me, I can get a Maker's 101 for $30.
That's true.
I can get a Majah Craig small batch for $35.
Yeah, but they're not,
I know it's not craft, but I mean,
it's not craft, and and they're not that brand either. So.
I'm just saying, I'd rather have both of those at the price point.
Yeah, at that price point, I would agree with that.
That's my only issue with them. I think that for them to be worth $35 to me, they need to be a little more complex, considering the competition.
Correct.
That's all.
It's almost like you're paying for the artwork.
Yeah, and like Chris said, I mean, they do a lot of charity stuff. They plant a tree for every bottle that's bought. And they're a new distillery, so I understand the upfront costs and everything. At least, I mean, these are 3 and 4 years old. At least they're transparent. They tell you that it's young, and they charge you a reasonable price.
It's almost like the craft distilleries are finding more unique ways in order to stick out and rise above the competition in different ways,
Yeah, well, they put out so much, so it's not like one
There's
bottle.
so many experimental bottles out there nowadays. It's like, how do you... Without the label, now we're gonna plant trees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that they didn't leave out the age statement and charge $50-$60.
Yeah.
I've been more pissed if I bought that for $50 and then tasted it and didn't know it was a 3-year and tasted it and was like, wow, that's young and spicy and floral.
So you're saying the first two definitely are mixers?
In my opinion, yeah. I think that pipe dream would make a pretty good old fashioned.
Probably, well, yeah.
I wonder, like...
The Lost Monarch might as well, because that little spice.
The rye spice will definitely kick
the
in.
climate in California compared to out here in Kentucky, I mean, I wonder how that varies and changes it.
Yeah, I mean, because all these are light.
Yeah.
Even, I'm holding the Grizzly beast now. This one, now we're getting into 100 proof, 10 proof higher, and it's 5 years instead of the 3 or 4. And it's still pretty light.
It's got a really good nose. Yeah, the nose on it smells great.
I like the nose.
Sweet, very sweet nose.
This one actually tells you the mash bill on the back of it. So it is batch 2. It is 70 barrels for the blend. It is 66 corn, 23 rye, 7% wheat, and 4% barley. So it's a 4 grain.
So that's why it's sweeter. You get a lot of that corn and that barley.
You can tell it's a high corn, and yeah, I think I can sense that little bit of wheat because I get like that silky grain kind of.
What price range is that coming in?
The Grizzly Beast is about $75 to $80.
So for a 4 grain, that's not bad. Normally 4 grain is hitting well over $100.
So I understand why the price is higher on this one. It's 5 years for their own stuff, and it's a 4 grain, and it's bottled in bond. So there's a lot more complications into this one, but this is a good whiskey. I do really enjoy this.
So far, that's my favorite.
If this were a $50 bottle, I would probably replace it when it's gone. At $80, no. And also, this isn't everywhere. No. I've only seen this at 2 different stores. It's not something you see all the time, like the Pipe Dream and the Lost Monarch, but these are yearly releases, the bottled and bond bottles.
Yeah.
But I do like this.
Yeah, that's my favorite by far.
It's viscous, fruity, some vanilla. You get a little bit of that wheat grain.
Yeah.
I mentioned Makers earlier. It reminds me of a Makers a little bit.
Yeah. You got that initial hug, but it's lingering, but it's not like overpowering almost.
Yes.
So it's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like you can sip neat or with ice. This wouldn't be a mixer in my book. This would definitely be a sipper.
Oh yeah. And it's an easy sipper. I don't think it drinks hot.
No, you don't.
I think it drinks right at that 100 proof. It's complex. I think it's overall pretty good.
Yeah.
So the next one is called Rocket Top. Same thing. It's a 5-year bottled and bond, but this one's a rye. It is 87% rye, 5% wheat, 5% malted barley, and 3% corn. So this is also a 4 grain.
Oh, nice. Oh, this one you can smell it. Like, this is definitely like a dessert. It's almost like a truffle. Or right on the nose, it's like a caramel deluxe.
So up front, it reminds me of the Lost Monarch. I get that floralness on the nose, but then immediately I get that caramel you're talking about.
Just right off the bat, you can smell it. Sweet, savory kind of note.
Yes. Yes, it's savory and then it gets very sweet.
And that's exactly what it tastes like. It reminds me of something that tastes.
It's almost like a salted caramel.
Yes.
You get that floralness up front, and then it's like a what are they called? It's chocolate. It's chocolate with caramel in it, and it's got salt on the top. The little candies. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what they are. But they're little bite-sized pieces. It's chocolate with caramel in it and some salt on the top. That's what I get. I get that floral note. It's just real subtly, and I get a salted caramel and then a nice chocolate.
Yeah.
I can still taste it. It's starting to fade, but it's a pretty good finish.
It doesn't even drink like 100
This-
proof.
no.
It's definitely a great sipper.
I don't think either one of them drink to 100 proof at all.
Not at all.
I think
The pipe
this.
dream drink the hottest.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this rye drinks closer to 90. When I got this rye, I was impressed. I got the Grizzly Beast several months afterward. But I like this rye a lot. If you guys have ever had Old Forester 100 proof rye, just a normal like $25 shelfer, this to me tastes like an elevated version of that. So it's reminiscent of that, where it's a sweeter profile rye.
There's definitely like some kind of like a herb finish almost. It's not dill, because Brady would have called that out.
It's not.
But it's almost like a basil kind of
Yeah.
taste to it, which I'm pretty sure is like
Makes-
rye.
Second sip makes my lips tingle on that.
Yeah.
So it's floral, and I feel all that spice on my lips, and then it just fades into that salted caramel, and then that chocolate, and I like the finish a lot.
Yeah. So for me, the bottle and bonds are probably superior to the other two, and I think the Grizzly is probably my favorite out of the 4, just based on the taste, and it's like just the perfect balance almost.
I like the finish more on the Rocket Top. I think the Grizzly Beast is a little more complex. I don't know. My favorite would probably be the Rocket Top, just because it really hits my profile as far as the finish. But the Grizzly Beast is very good as well. Like I said earlier, though, I do wish that they were just a little bit cheaper.
If you're willing to go out and try something new and you haven't tried the Redwood Empire, they're worth picking up and giving it a try. They're not the greatest, obviously. They're really young. But at the end of the day, if you want to try something new and try something different, I recommend it.
So since the Pipe Dream was your favorite coming in, what are your thoughts now?
Out of this lineup here, I would probably pick the Rocket Top over all the other ones. I've been on a rye kick lately too, though.
Rye's always good.
I just finished off my Pipe Dream, and I'm 100% getting what you were saying earlier with that tobacco.
It's a finished tobacco, you know what I mean?
I get like a caramel and an oak up front, and then I start to get a little bit of that sherry I was talking about earlier. And now it's getting into like a tobacco or in a barrel char. It's a little spicy. It's a little, and you get that tobacco,
smoky tobacco. Yeah.
Kind of like I get that on Knob Creeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what's funny? Like we did the Bullet Rye regular and 12 year. I would buy that over the Bullet any day.
Yeah, I would too.
It is pretty good.
Yeah. Hopefully they become a little more available. Hopefully they make those bottled in bongs, make more bottles of them in the future. Because yeah, those are definitely good, and hopefully they make more. And I would love to see the price go down a little bit, but just for them to be available everywhere would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So if you've had either of these, or if you've had the others, drop something in the comment. Tell us what you think, or what your thoughts are on what you've tried. If you've made it this far in the video and you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Drop a comment wherever you're viewing from. That's what we need to do. We need to see where people are viewing from. I don't think we've ever done that. Drop something in the comment and let me know where you're viewing us from, and we'll definitely give you a shout out on the next video. I'm just curious to see where our videos are being viewed.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it.